What's up and welcome back to the Good Old Gang podcast. I am, of course, your host, Evan Miller, and today I am joined by Aiden Quinn.
Hello. I've been having some Wi-Fi issues, so I'm really hoping it doesn't crash today, but I don't think it will.
Unlike that, the ship, luckily with Obi-Wan and the rest on there. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Damn, that was kind of a bad transition, but you got what I was trying to say, as we'll talk about. Of course, we're also joined by today T. Hetty himself, Thomas Hetherington.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Indeed. Of course, we're typically rounded out by Justin when we talk Obi-Wan on the show, but he unfortunately is not able to make it on this episode because he was stung by a swarm of bees. Very, very tragic. We're all hoping he has a quick recovery, that we see him again for the final episode next week. Can we say the same thing about Reva? I don't know. That's what we're going to find out today. I'm sure Tom is going to have a lot to say about this subject, so let's just get right into it. I'm going to start with Aiden and save Tom for last, actually, because I feel like Aiden and I are more on the same boat with this episode, while Tom is either close to the shore we're heading to, or he's just rolling around in another fucking ocean altogether.
Mr. Negative. Throw the next.
I'm ready for these spicy hot takes, Tom. But before we get to that, Aiden, what did you think about this episode?
I felt like they, finally delivered on an episode. I mean, episode 3 was great just because the Vader scenes, but this episode really felt like it gave a lot of character development to a lot of characters that needed it. I felt like Vader was absolutely menacing and at his absolute best. I think Obi-Wan, especially this episode, this is one of the best depictions of Vader we've gotten. And I'm totally here for it. I think Obi-Wan was great this episode. And you know what? I'm going to talk about it with Tom. I think Reva was all right. I think they gave her a very predictable but decent backstory. And I felt like at least the actress is giving a good performance. And, I think she's going to have a good final episode. I'm not going to say she's the great character. Is absolutely terrible in the first few, but she came around this episode and she was okay. But I think overall there was just the action was great, the emotion was good. I had no real big flaws to discuss. I mean, there's little minor things, but we'll get into that. But overall, it's a great episode.
I totally agree with you 100%. I think this is probably the best episode in the series for me so far. I was really, as we talked about last week, we were all really starting to get concerned about like where the quality was going with this show after last week's just horrendous episode. But I thought that this episode, it brought it all back for me. Like, if by the time this episode ended, I was of the thinking that if next episode sticks the landing and ends the show on a note as great as this episode was, then I think this will probably go down as like one of my favorite, or one of the more better Star Wars properties that we've gotten since, especially since the prequels. So I'm really looking forward to the next week. Actually, I thought this week, as you said, Aiden, Vader was at his best this week. I think even better than episode 3, in my opinion. He was on like Rogue One levels here for me. That scene with the ship that we'll talk about, it was just an epic moment. It was an epic episode with Vader, and with Reva as well. Reva killed it this episode. I really love the twist that they did with her, as we'll get into, and just how her character seems to be headed, especially going into the final episode. I was kind of concerned at the end of this episode what it could mean for next week. We'll talk about it, but I kind of have my concerns there. But overall, this was a fantastic episode with some fantastic character development and moments, and it really brought me back on board. So I'm on a pretty high for this one for sure. So those are my thoughts briefly on this episode. Now, Tom, the floor is yours. Let the spice reign. Let the spicy hot takes reign.
So I read a YouTube title for like a review for the episode, and it's exactly what I think. It is the best and worst episode so far. Certain aspects of it were absolutely fantastic, which we'll get into later, and some are genuinely awful. Like I think I'm honestly just I don't care anymore about this show because it's so different than what I thought it was going to be. And what you said with the landing, like it could stick a landing, but from just the way this story has been, it's going to be on a different landing pad than I ever thought it would be. That it could just do whatever at this point, and I'm just going to be like, okay, this is, I don't know how to, we'll have to talk about it more, but just this show has become more moments for me. Like they're great moments, but the show itself is not doing anymore. Like it isn't doing anything for me anymore. Like we're going to definitely talk about the flashbacks, and I bet that's going to be the first thing we talk about, but just that's what this is now. Moments within an episode that are good. And I'll leave somebody else to start on their whatever topic they want to talk about next.
Well, I mean, I definitely see where you're coming from, Tom, but like, I don't know. We'll be talking about it, of course, because this is the Good Old Gang podcast. You can get it on youtube.com by searching Good Old Gang podcast, and we'll be right there for you. On this show, we're just a handful of buds. We get together every week to talk about some of the things we love in the world of entertainment, including the latest in Star Wars, Marvel, and more. In this episode, we're talking about the penultimate episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi, as we already started with. And I guess we'll just get right into it at the beginning. We'll just talk about this opening at length and just how it's, I thought, very well interwoven with the whole episode as a whole. We finally got it. We got the prequel flashback. This was, of course, pre-episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Anakin, he didn't have the robotic arm there. So it was before episode 2. It was great to see, I thought. It provided some nice, it was just really nice actually seeing Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen together on screen. It's what they've been hyping us up for since episode 1. And we finally got it here with Hayden not in the Vader costume in this flashback, of course. While I thought it was cool overall, I honestly didn't really think it was too special, at least in its message. Like, I feel like it was, in the end, it was stuff that we'd seen before in the prequels with Obi-Wan and Anakin. Like, it wasn't anything new. The biggest thing that it provided, I think, was just the hype of just seeing them together. And I mean, while it looked good overall, I think they could have done a little bit better de-aging Hayden Christensen. That is, if they even de-aged him at all, because he kind of looked like a 40-year-old dude playing 19, and it was kind of obvious. But besides that, I didn't really have any problems with this. I love seeing Coruscant. That was fantastic. Was really nice seeing that in live action again after so long. But besides that, it was nice to see for sure, but I didn't really think it was anything too special. And I don't really think it added much to the episode. Of course, there were parallels, of course, going on with Reva and, of course, Obi-Wan and Anakin kind of like toying with each other, playing mind games in this episode. But yeah, that's just kind of what I thought about it. What did you guys think of this? I know it's something that Tom especially was looking forward to. So, but Aiden, you start. Okay, yeah, no, Tom, go ahead.
Okay.
So yeah, no, of course, besides me, everybody's happy to see this. This is what people have been wanting to see for 15, how long has it been? Like 15, 16 years. You
15,
get to see Anakin and Obi. Yeah, you get to see Anakin and Obi back in the prime, just doing their thing. No malicious, no evil problems, no whatever. Just them doing their training. Because from 1 to 2, we don't get the training. We just get 9-year-old kid to 19-year-old man-child. We don't get the transition. So I feel like that was very great to see. I am surprised, however, since they didn't de-age him, that they didn't do Revenge of the Sith. like, or close to that, because I feel like you wouldn't have needed to de-age him as much or even at all if you had him like in that design. Because when we see him later on in the other flashbacks with the hood on, he looks exactly the same. That there was no need to, you know what I mean? Like, it looks perfect. There was no need to, but Attack the Clones, underrated look, so it was cool to see.
Totally. I agree with you on the look. It was cool to see that again. It definitely brought back some nostalgia for sure. Aiden, what do you think?
I, as a new coming Star Wars fan, I really don't have the same sort of nostalgia effect that you guys would have. So it's a little different the way I perceive it. But I actually saw a few probably theories that are just coping Star Wars fans saying, the whole reason they didn't really teach Anakin was just because it's the way Vader is perceiving it. It's that, it's this older Anakin look, although, Anakin is burning everything anyway. So it was just a coping look, a coping theory. But in general, I didn't really have much of a problem with it. I can see why you would, because they have, the capabilities to make them look a lot younger, and they chose not to. But personally, I really didn't have much of a problem with it. And in general, I thought the flashbacks lined up well. I think they added, a better layer to the story and this episode as a whole, and they were definitely needed. So, I really didn't have much problems with the flashbacks.
I mean, like, I guess I take it back. Like, I didn't really have a problem with the way that Hayden Christensen looked. It was just kind of distracting, I guess. Like, it's definitely more of a nitpick than an actual problem. My only real issue was that, like, I didn't really feel like it added much. Like, I see where you were coming from, Tom, where we didn't really see much like actual training in the prequels. That was all mainly just like Clone Wars, I guess. But like, I feel like still, even like if we didn't see the training, like that message that was overall presented in those flashbacks, I feel like we've seen that in the prequels, even if it wasn't through like a training sequence like this. I just feel like maybe it would have been better if, like, instead of like a training sequence like that, they could have just had like maybe a deeper conversation as like brothers, I feel like that could have like added a bit more. I was kind of expecting that to happen at the end, but that's not what we got really. That would have been cool. Like, this was a really high hope that I expected wouldn't happen, but it would have been cool. Like, maybe even like Padme showing up at the end and like a little cameo from Natalie Portman. That would have been cool. But as I said, that was like a far out there expectation that I was not expecting at all to actually come to fruition.
I think like a Clone War flashback probably would have been able to establish that, deeper conversation, less than a, training flashback.
I agree for sure. Which is again, like, why I feel like that would have been a lot better, especially for like character development in this episode. Like, in this episode as a standalone thing, even it would have done a lot better, I feel like. But yeah, that was that. I mean, after at least the initial opening, we get Vader basically crowning Reva. I always like forget how to pronounce. Is it Reva or Reva?
I think it's Reva.
I always forget. I'm gonna say Reva.
I don't
think they've ever said. Yeah,
she has never been referred by her name. So
yeah, I'm just gonna say Reva. So Vader crowns Reva as the Grand Inquisitor. Obviously, we see how that turns out. It was in this moment. I wrote this down in my notes, but like, it was in this moment that I was really starting to question just how they were going to explain what was happening with the Grand Inquisitor, because obviously he comes back as he did, and I thought it was obvious that Vader had a plan in this moment at this point. But as of that particular moment, it wasn't clear what that plan was, and I was starting to get a little worried. By the end of the episode, I was very pleased with how it turned out. But I thought that this was a good moment overall. Like, I while it was a little weird, I thought it was cool to see Vader like basically knight Reva like this. I think that was pretty cool. Not deserved, but as it's revealed it was just like toying with her and playing mind games this whole time. So in hindsight, I thought it really worked. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I liked that, the whole idea of her becoming Grand Inquisitor and the whole mind game thing. I don't really have much else to say about that.
Oh,
but
good. The only thing for me is like, where was fifth brother and the other one in like any of this episode?
Yeah, they kind of just shafted them for this. I have no idea why. Like,
I thought that was a little strange.
In Rebels,
it felt like they weren't even on the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Rebels, that's like half the plot of season 2, like for the Inquisitors, is which one's going to be the new Grand. So I'm really surprised that we've only seen like 3 of them, and it's just them 2, more her, just wanting to be the Grand Inquisitor. Like that's one thing I found kind of bizarre with this, is like there should be more of them that should not be pleased about this. You know what I mean? Like they should all just. It would have been cool. No.
Yeah, it would have been really cool and great to see that. I think I don't really get why we didn't. Like, obviously there wasn't really enough time to explore that in this episode. So I suppose that's the only reason why. But it would have done the show well, I feel like, to explore that a little bit. Maybe like devote a scene or two, just like to have them in there, and not to like you said, Tom, they were not to just like completely shaft them this episode. So yeah, that's just kind of what I thought about it. But after this, we transitioned to Obi-Wan and Leia back with the Beta Rebels, the path. So we see that, and Kumail's there somehow. I guess he just gets there. So there's that. It was nice to see him. I was hoping he'd play a bigger role when he first popped up in episode 2. So it was nice to see him back.
He's one character I genuinely enjoy, like from this show. Yeah.
Me too. I think he's definitely been a highlight for sure, and I'm glad they brought him back. He also probably got the biggest laugh for me, while this episode wasn't really that light hearted at all. Like in his one moment with Leia trying to get the wall open or whatever, or the door. That was a good moment. I thought that was some good not improv or anything, but like it was good on Kumail. He had some good delivery with his line there. Yeah, and I thought, speaking of the Leia thing this episode, I thought it was kind of unnecessary. I feel like it kind of dragged the episode just a little bit, just seeing her like tinker around with all the wires and stuff. Like I feel like it could have been done.
There's a theme of the show.
Just didn't.
This story has been dragged on way too long.
Yeah. At this point, they just like don't know what to do with Leia anymore. I feel like, which is fine. Like it's
watching the first episode and be it'd be like an episode 2 thing, and now we're literally heading into the finale, and she's still a huge part of the story.
Yeah. It was definitely kind of a drag. Like I feel like if anything, she could have just stuck around. Like maybe they could have just got her on one of the ships or whatever to like prepare or whatever. They didn't need to have her go on her own little side mission here. That kind of just wasted 4 minutes of time in the episode. But I mean, it was what it was. It wasn't anything. It's not like they focused on it way too long. It was just like time that could have been spent elsewhere, I feel like, and it didn't really have that much of a payoff, But hopefully we just get a quick little goodbye with Leia next episode, and they just don't really focus on
first 5 minutes. Like say Obi-Wan says bye, that's it. Like if somehow the end of the finale, it's absurd. That's just, they would just be screwing themselves over. She's got to be gone as soon as the show starts, as soon as the episode starts.
Yeah, I totally agree. If next episode isn't just about Vader and Obi-Wan
and Reva
completely, we'll get to that. That's what I'm concerned about.
We will get to that.
That's what you have the biggest problem with, Tom, this episode. I mean, I'm kind of right there with you, but like,
so can I talk?
We'll get to it.
Can I actually talk about Reva? Like, I won't talk about the end part, but because spoke about it. Her character worked better this episode, like a lot. But then, that last minute brought her right back down. Just because I'm just getting sick of just these weird lore retcons and like people just finding out like things they shouldn't. Like the way they say the Reva thing, like for her knowing the Anakin, I'm like, all right, that's smart. I don't love it, but that's at least a smart way to connect it.
Oh, I love
The
that.
way,
I'm
no,
not
yeah,
gonna lie.
like
It was
that's what I'm saying.
it was
Like,
good.
yeah, like it's a good way
It
to
was
do
predictable.
Like that's a smart.
I think it was very obvious what the direction they were going with it, but it was still good.
But it was a smart way to do it.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like it wasn't just like, you know, she was just like, oh, I just knew it from feeling. You know, like I was ready for
Yeah,
them
it
to pull something
didn't
like that.
like retcon everything we knew about like how Darth Vader, like nobody knows he's Anakin Skywalker.
But
Yeah.
just like that last 2 minutes with the hologram message, which I want to even talk about that too, because I feel that makes no sense why Jimmy, you know, Bail Organa,
Yeah, that was
that
a pretty dumb thing for him to do. I felt like
yeah, there's no reason that should have happened, and Obi-Wan giving his gear, I feel was bizarre. Like I still
to
get
Kamel.
that. Yeah,
I don't get why he gave him that, especially the message. Like that was some highly sensitive information. That,
like what I thought he was gonna do was he was gonna look at that big, you know, lightsaber pile. Three of us would have loved it. You know, that big lightsaber pile and give him one of those and be like, "You want to be a Jedi? Here you go."
I thought he was.
Oh yeah, that would
have
have
been.
I really thought he was gonna do that. That would have been.
He gave him his lightsaber still.
Yeah.
Like he should have just given him the lightsaber.
Yeah, but he should have gave him one of the other ones and been like, you know, that's what I thought they were gonna do. But
that would have been better.
The last minute killed it for me, and I hate that. Like this episode was really strong, but it's like, I hate to say it, you know how like endings can sour something for people? This really did it for me. And like I hate that happened. Because I was really on board. The Reva surviving the stab thing, I'm not a big fan of. Like I thought this
I don't buy that.
Not in the sense of like, oh, I don't like the character, but that could have been a neat way to end her arc. You have the Grand Inquisitor back.
Like literally looks dead. Reva stabbed through the stomach. Nah, I'm good.
Which
here's what I think about this. Here's what I think about it. Like I said before at the top of the episode, I thought that Reva was fantastic in this episode. I especially thought Moses Ingram gave her best performance yet in the series.
She's a great
line delivery. Yeah, she is.
No,
she is.
Did a good,
she brought it to this episode. And that line delivery where she's telling Obi-Wan about her story of Order 66, where were you while he was killing my friends? That shit was like that was heavy. And that shook me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I do
wish Obi-Wan said something though.
Yeah.
Like I do wish
I didn't
did say something. Like, shock.
Yeah, that's why. It's like I get why.
I think he just had no words. He was just processing the
like
the entire thing.
Would have been like a neat way to have done that. I don't know. Like you could have had him been like, when I got there, the job was already done. Like if I'd been there, I would have dealt with it. You know what I mean? Like there was a war we had to fight. But the shock thing makes sense.
Totally. Yeah. And like just to keep going, like I just thought she was brilliant in this episode. That being said, I think it would have been, I think it might be a hindrance for her now if she does in fact survive into next episode. Like I thought her death, like her quote unquote death, like I thought she was dying in that moment, and I thought it would be if she did, it would have been an epic death in my opinion. Like she just goes up against Vader, and that fight was dope. I thought, like how Vader just fucking toyed with her, like as he's been doing the entire time she's been with the Inquisitors and stuff. So I thought it just brought that to a head perfectly, and the way it ended with him just being like giving her a giant fuck you by like telling her that like he knew the whole time and bring back the Inquisitor to like the Grand Inquisitor to like rub it in her face at how much of a fucking moron she was being and everything. Like I thought it was badass on Vader's part, and I thought it was badass on Reva for like fighting Vader like that and like trying to kill him. I do think that like it was a stupid move. Like obviously we know that Vader wasn't dying, of course, but like I think it was a stupid move for her to like raise the lightsaber back and like scream before like she tried to like get him. Obviously, he was gonna stop her like that. Why didn't she just like fucking ignite it in his back quietly? Like I don't know. Like he still would have sensed it. He could have stopped her that way, but how she went about it was just stupid in my opinion. But it led to a badass moment. Go
I'm
for
gonna be honest. Her every time she screams, it's just very funny. Like I don't know why, but like just the way she's acting, I don't know. Just when she like when the what was it when Vader did the Force thing and like caught her blade with the Force and she first did it. But like the first scream she did, I was actually like chuckling to myself. Like there wasn't. I don't feel like there's rage behind it. Like I still feel like it's still the Kylo episode 7 problem where it feels more like a tantrum. You know what I mean? Like it's not even shame on her. It's just I just find it funny. And also I guess just the whole thing of like she thinks she's gonna win against Darth Vader. So I'm just like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it's if the Grand Inquisitor or like any of them did this exact same thing, I would laugh. Because it's funny. I don't know if you guys felt that way, but it did to me.
Oh no, like especially when like she tried to just like kill him like before the fight even began.
Yeah.
Like that did make me laugh because like it was just such a stupid move.
Yeah.
But like even the fight, like she was obviously like angry in that moment. Like she had every right to be like, and even like with her acting choices, this episode like kind of made me rethink what I've thought about her acting choices in previous episodes up until now, of like how just rageful she is and like how because like I that was just like basically a mask to mask her feelings from Vader, I guess, that like she was hunting him the whole time even though we knew, but like that I feel like she just thought that like if she was just angry and like how she was like all the time, like maybe like people just wouldn't question her and like question like her motives or anything. I guess like that's the explanation that I like put together for myself for it after this episode. Like it could be totally off, but like I don't know, I'm kind of more forgiving now after this episode than I was, just especially because of like how truly great her performance was in this episode.
I think
I get it.
I think the whole thing is like the first 4 episodes, you know, she was putting on this mask just like you said. I think this was to show like, especially with the whole like what you said, like the whole lightsaber thing, her screaming, you know, bringing attention to the fact that she's attacking him. It's just, I think it goes to show that this episode brought out like the child in her. I think that's what they were getting at, you know, like she still is this young person.
Dude,
you know?
the way he calls her, a youngling as they're fighting, just like get at her. That was,
and
great.
I think, and it depicts the idea, you know, like she's still childish, you know. And I think she did a decent job portraying that too. I think she did a great job actually portraying that this episode.
Totally.
I feel that could probably help with the scream thing, and maybe that's why I thought it was a bit more funny because it did.
Yeah,
now that you say that, it feels like a child's like a child being.
Yeah, that's how you have to.
It's almost
her this episode.
It's almost like she believes that like her rage can like bury the fear that she had as a child. You know,
it's like a little kid beating up like a big brother or something. You know, like when a little kid runs up, starts punching, like, you know, like thinking it's just all this rage and this temper tantrum, and they're not going to do anything. They just think they are. And that was Reva's whole thing. She had this idea that she can, you know, kill him. She can do it on her own. She doesn't need anyone's help. And then she gets the opportunity. She screams like almost like, you know, like a younger person, and then Vader, you know, literally embarrasses her. Because there's just a huge power differential there. And it's just like a kid and an older, you know, brother or older father, you know, like a father. I don't know.
In terms of characters, though, can we get an F for Tala?
Oh yeah,
what a unit.
Yeah,
so sad.
I was just gonna
really
transition to her
character.
Yeah, I'm so really bummed.
Good. 2 episodes did not do her like she deserved to be in the finale.
She had a great death though. Like
she did.
I felt something when she died.
Yeah,
I'll admit that was one thing I thought they were gonna do to Reva. Was I thought she was gonna be caught in the explosion, and then that was gonna weaken her. And then like if they did the Vader thing, she was gonna be even more of a disadvantage. Like we were gonna see her, and part of her body was gonna be messed up from the bomb. which I was like, oh, that's going to be interesting to do. But I guess not.
Nah, after she revealed to Obi-Wan that like she's been hunting Vader the entire time and like he is who she's truly after, I think Obi-Wan just saw that as an opportunity to work with her. He didn't want to like really like. I mean, that's what I thought. What did you think?
Oh no, I'm saying it more in the sense of like that was just going to happen as a byproduct.
Oh,
like like just when she did the bomb, she was just going to get a little bit caught, like not like ruined, but she was going to be a little scruffed up.
Yeah.
So like when she fought Vader, it was going to be even worse.
Right.
Like it was going to be even less of a match because like let's say like her left arm like not blown off, but like just got unusable for the time, and it was going to be more of like that kind of thing, which I thought I was like, oh, that could have been a neat way to do it, but I guess not.
I could see that like it could have been cool, but I definitely didn't mind the way they actually.
Oh no, me neither. Just I thought that could have been a neat little thing to add in there. It's like, oh, she's really like struggling now.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know, but then again, like she was already like she's already like at a disadvantage already against Vader. Like to put her at a further disadvantage, I feel like it would have been pointless.
I guess. Yeah. I guess it
like,
just would have been cool.
She lost the fight. True. Yeah. The funny thing about Tala though, like before her thing happened and just all the stormtroopers were just like swarming the hallways and like missing every single target, I was starting to think that it was kind of ridiculous how there haven't been any casualties on the good side, and just as I thought that like she goes down and like I feel like, oh no,
what do you mean?
I jinxed her, man. Oh yeah, true.
Yeah,
we did lose Wade. Fucking Wade, bro. How could I forget about Wade? Yeah. In the brief 10 seconds he was on screen, he basically became my favorite character in all of Star Wars. There is
basically he's like a top 10 character in fiction.
Top 3.
Yeah, top 10 of all time.
Top 3, and he's not 3 or 2.
Kicks Luke's ass, that's for sure. Kidding me? Kid's just lying in bed on Tatooine doing nothing but shooting fucking womp rats, bro.
Poor dude, look at that guy. He's gonna be a
fucking around at Tashi.
He's gonna be the
station,
farmer
bro.
for the rest of his life, man. He's not gonna do anything impactful.
Yeah, it's just smoking whatever it is they smoke on Tatooine, bro.
Yeah.
What do they smoke on Tatooine? I wonder. That's a conversation for another time. Oh, true, Def 6. How can I forget about Def 6? I'm still disappointed that the Def 6 guy hasn't made an appearance. I hope that happens in a flashback next episode.
That would be great.
That would be cool. Him or
we got no Dexter either.
Yeah, no Dex or Watto. Fucking Watto. Yeah, that would be great. No, but anyway, when Tala goes down and the droid, I forget his name, but the droid goes with her, I thought that was, it brings it back to the line from episode 3 that just with the droid actions speak louder than words. Like the droid just like hunching over her to try to protect her, just like killed me. Like he goes down and she goes down after, but like it was really sad, but it was a good death. Like her may the force be with you line before she died. I thought she killed it. I thought that was a really good sacrifice there.
No complaints. No complaints at all with her arc at all. She was a good character. She really was.
I also loved how before her death, like she went into like her origin story of how she joined the path basically, and like how she actually was a servant for the Empire. Like we knew that, of course, but like how she actually believed in the cause. But then when she had to round up, what was it? It was 4 families, 14 people, 6 children, just for the Inquisitors to kill them. Like how she felt responsible for that. Like that was some good character work. I thought like you could tell that like she really felt guilty about that and how it like changed her life. Like she had the great line, some things you can't forget, but you can fight to make them better. That's like exactly what she was doing. Yeah. Granted, like when she said that and stuff, like I kind of figured that like she probably would die eventually. I wasn't thinking it'd be this episode, but like we said, it was an honorable death. So it was good. Also, just shout out to the music in that moment, and the music overall in this episode. I thought the music killed it this episode. It's been it was the best this episode that it's been the whole show. I feel like I had some complaints in previous episodes about the music, but like I thought it was on point this episode, especially in that moment. But yeah, Tala was just a great character for sure.
Yeah, no.
She's great. No complaints at all about her.
All right. But yeah, I mean, just one final point about it. I mean, last week I said I hope that in the last 2 episodes, I hope the show makes me cry for the right reasons instead of the wrong reasons. Got my wish.
Tom's been crying in laughter.
That's true. He has been, and
Yeah.
I'm sure that was still true for this episode. The freak, but yeah, there's that. After this, we basically, I think pretty much right after this is basically the moment where Vader brings down the ship. Like,
Yeah.
Tom, what did you think about this, Tom? Oh, I thought it
was great until the other ship shot out, and I thought that was a little bizarre.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of ridiculous as well. Like, yeah, what was that implying? That he just like ran out of energy, even though it looked like it was nothing for him when he brought down the first ship. Like,
I feel it would have been
I
like
get it.
even I can even excuse that if it was just done a little better. Like, let's say it was like half that ship is like being dragged to the ground, breaking, and the other half like detached and shot out. Like, I feel like that just the way they show it, it doesn't look like the ship came out of anything or anywhere. Just looks like it spawned in. Just
Come
to
on,
leave.
bro. The Force has a cooldown.
No,
true.
no,
As we've seen in
the
Battlefront
Vader
2, bro.
Vader leaving the thing is fine. Like, letting it go is fine. It's just the way the ship comes into the frame was just weird. It looks like the ship itself, like
Yeah.
the second one spawns out. Like, it would have been cool, like if the bottom half of the ship like detached, so the top half left. If you know what I mean, like if you understand what I'm trying to say with that.
Yeah. No,
I get that.
No, the way it looked, it didn't look.
Yeah, it was just
great.
bizarre.
They could have made it look better. Yeah.
It's like it just came out of nowhere. I thought like it was just weird, but like I mean, it didn't do anything overall for me. Like that moment was just like so fucking
So
badass.
good that I didn't pay attention. Like I didn't look enough at that. Like,
oh no,
that's fine. That like, but if it takes you out of the moment, that's when it's like, all right, it's a problem.
Yeah, totally. It came close, honestly, but like just a great moment. Such a great moment. Really gave some Force Unleashed parallels, right, Tom?
At least it was easier.
Yeah. I mean, it also I mean, like I almost forgot about this, but kind of before we started recording, I remember when I was thinking about the scene, it also brings back to the scene in episode 9. Sorry for bringing it up, but it makes sense, I guess, here, where you know, the quote unquote Chewbacca death scene where where Rey and Kylo are trying to bring down the ship.
Oh, geez.
I mean, like, it shows that why they were struggling, at least. Like Vader can do that shit in like 5 seconds, easy peasy. Like they yeah.
I saw a clip where Ahsoka did it too.
Oh yeah, she did in Clone Wars. Yeah, so it was definitely just cool to see Vader do it and to see how
show how easy he does
how
it.
goated yeah. Definitely, like I said before, the Vader in this episode for me was on par with Vader in Rogue One. How much of a badass he was in that. So they just killed it with Vader in this episode, and I hope they bring him home doing it as well in the final episode.
Could be, if they do him like really well in the last episode, could be the best depiction of Vader.
Yo, I'm gonna be honest. For some reason, I can see them low-key pulling no fight in the final episode.
I really could. A heart-to-heart, like, and he lets Obi-Wan go.
No, I just mean the.
I mean,
I don't even. Yeah, I don't know. Season
there's
2.
Concept art. There's the concept art. Go ahead, Tom.
That's why I'm just saying. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it just doesn't happen.
Right. Oh, yeah, me neither.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised either. Like, I think it'd even be cool. Like it definitely won't go this way, but like you said, if they have like just like a heart-to-heart conversation of sorts, like even if it's just like through the Force, like I don't know. My only thing that I just like don't want to see happen really, and I guess we could just get into it now, just like with how this episode ended with them like flashing a Luke on Tatooine, that I guess that implies that like either Reva's going to go to Tatooine if she is in fact still alive next week, which I think is kind of a mistake, but it is what it is. Either she's going or Vader's going and Obi-Wan will follow, or they're all three. I don't know. Like I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like they shouldn't bring this to Tatooine, and if they do, like they just need to keep Luke out of it. What do you think, Tom? Actually, no, Aiden, I want to hear what you think first, because I know Tom's going to go on about this for a while.
I don't know what their plan is for the finale with Luke and this whole Reva and Luke thing. I think if they were gonna, I think this storyline, I honestly, as much as Tom said, like it really doesn't make a lot of sense. If they were planning to do it, which they obviously were, I think it would have been better if this was like it started out like end episode 4 and went on for the last 2, episodes. I feel like this whole thing is gonna get really like they're just gonna fucking do it in like 10 minutes. I feel like, and I feel like it's gonna be very underwhelming and not needed in my opinion, which I know Tom's gonna go on about.
I mean, we can only hope it's not that though. It's just like extremely badass. I mean, we didn't get it this episode, so we're gonna get it next episode. The Qui-Gon moment. So hopefully really hope that's good too.
Well, we're hoping it happens. I mean, we're anticipating all of this, but like, how many times we've anticipated stuff and it's just, disappointing.
I know, but like they've been so on the nose about it, setting it up where like if it doesn't happen, it's like it's just like, what are they doing if it doesn't happen? Because
do they have the time to do it though? They got. I hope they do.
I think they have the time.
This episode should be 45 to 50 minutes, but it's going to be like 40, if that.
Nah, that was an issue last week. I was glad this week. Was this week 40 or was it closer to 50? I think it might have been like 41 or something.
41, maybe
like 42 or something.
Yeah.
Hopefully they hit
a little bit long.
Hopefully it hit high 40s next episode.
But then again, hopefully it also doesn't drag. Right.
Yeah, no, I don't think it would drag. Hopefully.
As long as Leia's out of the picture quickly, then it won't drag.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But we'll just have to wait and see about that. But
42 minutes.
42 minutes.
Yeah, it was episode 5.
Yeah, I guess Tom, what are you thinking?
For what, the finale?
Yeah, the finale and going back to Tatooine and everything. What are your thoughts here?
They can just do anything at this point. Reva's gonna live, because apparently if they do a season 2, apparently they changed like her ending. So I bet you that means she's alive. So
you know what? I wouldn't mind.
She's going to live.
I wouldn't mind if she shows up in. Sorry, I just want to throw this out there real quick.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind if she shows up in Fallen Order 2 or something.
Maybe that's what they're setting up.
I mean, I think
they're
cool.
obviously setting her up to be in something else. That's the reason she's getting all this huge character development. They're not just going to be done with her.
Speaking of something else, I was talking with Justin yesterday about this, because I feel that this is what the Obi-Wan show has become. So about, I'd say maybe like a year and a half ago, there was rumors about an Inquisitor show happening. Taking place with all the Inquisitors doing their thing. And right. I bet you that this thing with the path and all this stuff and Reva's story and all the Inquisitors was that show. And then when they were making the Obi-Wan show from a movie to a show, they didn't realize what to do because they were changing it. And they blended these two shows together and adding Leia in as not a filler, but like a connector to make this like possible. I can totally see that being why this show is the way it is.
Oh no, I totally agree with you there. I think we even might have briefly talked about it last week, but we said how like Reva should have just been given her own show, and
you know what?
I definitely agree with you.
Her own show, I would have liked her.
Yeah, me too.
It doesn't.
I would have liked her more, at least.
It just doesn't feel like an Obi-Wan show And I think that just like all this stuff, it just doesn't fit. You know what I mean? Like people love it and great for them. Like you can love this, good, but it just doesn't fit what it just does not fit for me at all. That's why I'm saying like the moments are great, but that's what they are. Like this ending, I can just see them doing, oh, Reva's gonna potentially head to Tatooine. Obi-Wan's gonna head back, but he's gonna be intercepted by Vader. They're gonna have their big fight or whatever it is. Obi-Wan's gonna escape. Obi-Wan's gonna get back to Tatooine. He's gonna see Reva there, but like staring off the distance with Luke. Then she's gonna be like, "Oh, I'm not gonna fight because I'm injured and I'm not gonna be mean." And then she leaves, and then Obi-Wan talks to Qui-Gon, and then it ends.
That would be so underwhelming. That Tatooine
that's
would be
honestly
so
what I feel.
underwhelming.
That's honestly how I feel.
I would not even.
I honestly,
I'd turn off the screen if Reva just would go there, watch, and have that conversation and leave.
Like she's gonna she's gonna go to be like she's gonna go to be like to do the job. Like, oh, I'm gonna get the kid and whatever. Then she's gonna realize like, oh, blah 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 blah. I'm not evil anymore, or at least I'm not going to be Empire.
Oh, maybe she's going to do it, and then Obi stops her.
Oh no, I could see her stopping on her own volition.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
if they're gonna do that, I'd rather Obi.
No, like I don't know. Like I kind of disagree with you guys a little bit. I kind of feel like that could work if they do it right. Like,
oh,
maybe
no,
she's just so rageful right now that she didn't get what she wanted. That like she's gonna go back to get back at Obi-Wan and like try to kill Luke or Owen or whoever. And like before she does it, like she thinks back about her as a youngling and like Anakin killing kids, and like she doesn't want to stoop to his level, you know? And like she just in that moment she realizes that she's becoming him, you know?
Oh no, I'm not saying that
but I feel like they could have done that with Leia.
That's true.
I feel like,
but like, if she never wanted to kill Leia, exactly. Even though like she hooked her up to the death machine, you know.
Yeah, she never wanted to kill her, but like still, you know.
I'm not saying that this can't work. I'm just saying I don't care.
I don't want it to happen, but I feel like if they do go that route, which I don't want them to. Yeah. Plus, also just like how the fuck is Reva getting to Tatooine anyway? Like she can't walk right now. Yeah, I guess so. She's gonna call it Jawa.
No, you know, there's gonna be a ship somewhere. Like, there's gonna be an old Jedi.
They're not gonna explain it.
Yeah, but like, I do not buy. I don't buy her just like getting up from being fucking impaled like that.
She already started to.
Yeah, she was already getting up.
That's just ridiculous, though, dude. Like,
plus
also just
Darth
Vader
Maul
not finishing the job.
Yeah, listen, he didn't finish the job already,
like,
so
that's some fucking Anakin from episode 2 arrogance right there. Like he should have just killed her. Like,
oh no, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm jaded with this show, and it's so sad because I really thought for me like this was gonna be the one,
right?
Like this was gonna be the one that like finally did it. Where each episode I was just gonna be like. I was going to have my jaw was just going to be dropped every time. And I was going to be like, this is going to be the best thing ever. And it's not. And I think that just really makes me sad.
I think all these Disney Plus shows, like, I think, dude, I've come to the expectation
Mandalorian
that they have to, yeah, Mandalorian is in its own tier.
Well, they treat Mandalorian differently. They always have.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Mandalorian does not feel like a Disney Plus show. It does not.
Why does he not get that treatment? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this.
It's really just because of all this.
This show has really like, it's good, but a lot of it has felt like a money grab.
It's really just because of the script changes that they had and probably just Kathleen Kennedy, to be honest. Like initially, I don't know if you guys knew this, the script was like really dark for the show.
Yeah, I know.
That's why it was delayed to hell, because they had to change it to make it more lighthearted. That was a mistake.
Can we talk about that? This will be like a minute. That advisory at the front.
Oh yeah, dude.
That made me dude, I almost spit cereal. I was laughing. It was bad.
I mean, like I
Like, I'm
understand why
sorry,
they
that
did
was
it.
just
Like
funny though.
Netflix did it too for Stranger Things. I don't know if you noticed.
But like, of
Yeah, they
course
did it
it's
because
upsetting. Look
they
at
did
it
it
was
what they
like
because
show
right
you.
after.
it mirrored a school, like, you know, it's pretty much
Yeah, like it mirrors
mirrored a
what's
school
going
shooting.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I get it. It was
yeah.
yeah. I didn't. It obviously didn't do anything for me or anything.
I don't know. I just found it like I just thought that was very bizarre. Like this whole show has just been
I mean,
depressing
Tom,
with
be
that.
honest with yourself here. If episode 3 came out today, like you would not see Anakin killing younglings.
I mean, well, you
Like,
technically
different
don't,
time.
but
Yeah, but like you wouldn't
no,
even, it wouldn't
yeah,
even be a
no.
thing.
But
So
like
like
no,
I
but that's
understand why they have to put that in there now, I guess.
no, yeah, no, I get it. It was very funny because listen, we saw this happen in the first episode too.
Yeah. I
Not
was
like the
gonna
kids
say,
specifically,
yeah.
but like we saw the death happen in episode 1. You know,
Right.
we saw kids getting abducted. It's just very funny that this got it. Like they decided to do this at episode 5 of 6,
Well,
if that makes
No,
sense.
they had the disclaimer at the beginning of episode 1 too.
Yeah, I'm pretty
They
sure
had that
did.
upsetting thing.
No, they had something
That's what
different.
I'm talking about.
They
That.
actually no, they actually like made reference to the school shooting that just happened. They didn't have it was a similar message. It wasn't the same thing though. They actually like I think they actually said that like due to recent like events, this episode just like a warning, you know.
Oh, I don't
They
remember
definitely had
that.
something though. They
That
had
one I
something.
don't remember. I just remember it for this, and maybe it's just I finally like paid
I-
attention to it.
I remember because like I saw it in this, and then right after I started watching Stranger Things, and they had their own message. So like they both had it
Okay.
on the same day. So
I guess
Yeah.
that's just bizarre. I don't know. I'm surprised I didn't. Maybe I was just not paying attention before the episode started. I don't know.
nah, you were too hyped. You were too ready to get your heart
Yeah.
broken in that moment. So yeah,
It's just the
you weren't
certified hater.
for real
Yeah, I'm toxic. I'm sorry, guys.
certified.
I guess I'm a toxic hater. Do you think we're seeing Quinlan Boss?
No.
At this point, no. It would have been cool if we saw him in
With
the
Kyle.
path. Yeah, like as a member of the path, like either this episode or last episode.
Yeah.
If any, or even like episode 3. But like, yeah, it's too late now. They can't be introducing that shit now.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was a cool reference, but they're not going anywhere with it. I just want to see Qui-Gon at this point. That's all I can hope
getting
for.
him.
Let's get
Yeah,
20 minutes
we
of that.
we
Let's
are.
get 20 minutes of that conversation.
It's just gonna be like a 1 minute, 2 minute thing, but it's gonna happen.
Is it
Even if
gonna
it's
be-
just like a voiceover and we don't actually see Liam Neeson and just hear his voice.
Oh my god.
We're
I
gonna
know.
get
they
something.
have no, we have to see him.
No.
I feel no.
No.
Dude, your expectations have literally fell.
Yeah, Tom, you got to lower your
They
expectations
fell,
for next
dude.
week, bro.
Oh no,
Well,
that's what-
actually,
dude, I'm
no.
lowering them.
Actually, you don't need to lower them. You just need to. I don't know. You need to just have them tempered. You can't be like too low. You got to go in expecting a little something.
No, he
Just,
actually needs to
'cause we
raise his
need-
expectations.
Yeah, we need
There's-
your
there-
we need your
there's-
energy
there's
there, so
having
that
a
when your
little bit of
heart's broken next
expectations.
week, you'll come in like super energized and like
As
ready to
long as the
just
next
rip us all apart.
as
with
long
your
as the fight for Vader and
takes.
Obi is good. That's
But
all.
we just talked about it. There's no fight. It's just a heart to heart.
Oh yeah.
I
you're
think there
right.
will be a fight.
I think there will be. They've been
Yeah,
building up to it
they-
way too long. But
Because that last episode, like what was it, episode 3? That was not the rematch
Yeah,
of the
if-
century.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
It's all we
Vader's not going to tear down a ship just to heart with Obi-Wan. That's not how it works.
No.
He's not
the
just going to
fu-
sit there and
The
just
flashback fight was great.
Oh, yeah. It was.
Oh, I loved it.
It
thought
was cool.
great.
It was
felt
cool
like
seeing
classic-
Anakin. Yeah, it was cool seeing Anakin go off like he did, but like
Yeah,
I
it
just like
felt like a classic episode 2 fight though. That's why, like, it felt like
Yeah.
that style of fighting, and I loved it. It wasn't, it wasn't slow and clunky. It just
Mhm.
felt right, you know.
yeah. I mean, like I liked it, but like I said before, I just like I wish we got something more than that with the flashbacks. But it was cool to see Anakin go off the way he did, with the just like rapidly just like swinging his lightsaber like
Yeah.
a Sith Lord there.
Oh, and me and Justin spoke about this. I guess this could be the last thing in terms of like Leia to talk about. That like every Star Wars product has been about like, Star Wars is about, like they say, it's about family and all that, but everything has been like adult and kid, adult and kid, adult and kid. And me and Ann were both talking, and like they really got to give that a break.
I agree with
Master
you.
and Apprentice is like a different thing, but like child and adult, they gotta give that a break. Like it's too much of it. Like what's it, Mandalorian, this, Bad Batch,
Bad Batch,
Clone Wars, Rebels, all of them are the same with this. They gotta change it up. Book of Boba Fett was the only one that didn't have it, but even then, for a good episode or two, Boba has a kid friend. And then it has the Mandalorian, which is
the fucking cyberpunk kids too.
Oh boy, the Power Rangers. We don't talk about those.
Yeah.
Yep. I feel so bad for them. They don't deserve the hate, but just
I take it back.
Good,
I take it back what I said last week about, I forget exactly what I said, but something being the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in Star Wars. They still hold that title. They're still the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in Star Wars.
What did you even say last episode?
It might have been about fucking Tala just like taking a stormtrooper down by like smacking him on the helmet. It could have been that, or it could have been one of the other stupid things that happened last episode. Yeah, that too. It could have been one of 100 million different things, but yeah.
Vader just straight up forgiving Reva.
I forgive that.
But that retcons it, because of the whole him playing.
It was all part of his plan.
But prior to this episode, that was one of the worst Vader moments.
Yeah, for sure.
It just made look nothing like.
Just
why did he have that?
If I ever revisit this show, when that moment comes around, like I'll be so much better at it with different eyes. Yeah,
exactly.
But why did he have this plan though? That's the one thing I don't get about
because he wanted he's just like an evil son of a bitch, Tom.
Yeah, he's been teasing everyone.
He kills children for sport, bro.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
The only thing. That's the only thing he follows through with.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm surprised about it. Why didn't he?
He wanted her to think he wanted her to think she was getting ahead, and that she was actually going to get what she wanted.
Move, though. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they gave him that should have been more of a Sidious thing to do.
Listen, though, Tom, this is clearly an Anakin who's still kind of struggling with things. Like he's clearly like the way he's going after Obi-Wan. It shows that, like the way he's so bent up on getting Obi-Wan. It shows that like he's still Anakin a little bit. He's not full on Vader yet, I suppose. Even though like it has been like 10 years, I guess.
Yeah. But, I guess hearing Obi kind of re-sparked him. I guess. Yeah,
like he just wants to kill that part of his past to truly become Vader, I think. But I mean, like I didn't mind it.
So do you still feel there's weight in episode 4 with the meeting of Learner and Master? I mean, we got one episode left, but I don't know. Because at this point, it already seems like Vader's the master over Obi. Because when he says, I was but the learner, Vader's winning. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they made him either Obi too weak or Vader too good. And now that line doesn't. Well,
Obi-Wan hasn't used the Force or held a lightsaber in 10 years.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. So. Hopefully the last this one coming up.
Yeah, I think this episode and the last couple episodes have hinted that, like, he's sort of, like, getting back with the Force and everything. Like, I think we're going to see that next episode for sure. But, yeah, I mean, like, I think it made sense that, like, how weak he was in episode 3 and everything.
Oh, no, yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. Just in that sense, it's like, it doesn't feel that way. Obviously, they're probably going to make it different for the final fight. But, like, him saying, like, the episode 4 thing, like, you're about to learn around the master now, like, it doesn't feel like it works because Vader already, like, won. But, hopefully they fix it for episodes, like, for the final episode for episode 6.
Right.
Or, part 6, I meant for Obi.
We can only hope.
I just hope the choreo is good.
I hope so too. Yeah. The choreo was good for the flashback fight. I will say that, and it was fantastic for the Reva fight at the end.
One thing I'm wondering is, in terms of like overseeing and all this, Book of Boba, I think too, but definitely Mando has had George like on set. Has this show had him on set? That's
I don't
what
really
I
know.
wonder.
I mean,
You know
it's
what I mean? Like
I think it's
wonder.
possible. Like I haven't really been following any reports of like that specifically. I think it's possible, but I don't really
Like
know.
how involved has like Filoni been with this show?
I don't really think Filoni's been that involved. Like I don't think he's a producer. He could be an executive producer or something. I
Maybe.
don't know, but I'm
Because
not
like
really
on
sure
his
about that either.
when Filoni's involved, like George will be there. So that's why I'm wondering, like, has George been there for any of this? And I get some people are gonna be like, George doesn't need to be, but come on. Yes, he does. You know, like that's what I feel.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I wonder, has George been here for any of it? Or is he just like at his probably fantastic house?
I
being
feel like if
"What
he
is
was, we would have
this?"
heard more about it.
You know? Yeah. But then again, I don't know.
I'm not sure. Anyway, I mean, like, I don't know. I think we've talked about pretty much everything. Is there anything else that either of you wanted to say about this episode?
No, I think we covered it well.
You think we'll get a post credit for episode 6?
Yeah, I think.
God,
so.
I hope not.
I'm very confident that we will.
I
It's just a Disney Plus norm at this point. So
not
I think
really.
they're-
Well, I mean, yeah, it is kind of for Star Wars too. But
Well,
like, I
yeah.
hope they just leave it alone. I don't want a season 2. Do you guys want a season 2?
I don't want one, but I think we will.
No, I don't. But you want to know what's going to be sad? If we get a season 2, I bet you it's going to be what I wanted season 1 to be. Him just on Tatooine the whole time. So like, it's really a pick by poison of do I want that or not after this, you know?
I think it's unnecessary.
Yeah. Like I think it's unnecessary, but do I want to see what I wanted to see? You know what I mean? It's
Right.
one of those things.
I mean, I want him to show up in a fucking Fallen Order 2.
Obi?
Like, I want everyone to show up in Fallen Order 2. But
I don't
like,
want Obi
yeah,
in
I
Fallen
think it would
Order.
be cool if Obi makes a small appearance, you know?
No. Oh, see, I don't
I
want
thought
Obi.
I felt it the other way around. I felt like Cal should have showed up in Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I feel like
That
that
would've
too.
been really
Like,
cool.
either
give
one.
them
Like, I feel like it
ideas.
would
We
be
might see that next week.
that'd be
Oh my
cool.
God.
Because it takes.
Yeah.
Didn't we say it? Then we confirm that like Fallen Order 2 takes
Same
place
year,
like during
yeah.
this time. Yeah.
Yes.
Survivor.
It would make
new one.
sense. It would make sense. Yeah. So I don't know. We can only hope for next week.
It'd be a good,
but go ahead.
it would be a good setup to Fallen Order 2.
Oh no! See the kind of idea.
I-
No. Yeah, Fallen Order 2 is taking place now.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But
It
the
would just be
idea,
a good to see
what I feel like there might
Cal
be
and
doing-
then marketing.
Yeah. That would be cool. I agree.
I already feel like what they're doing for Fallen Order 2 or Survivor, whatever it's called. I feel like it can already be interesting if they go a certain way with it. So I feel like they don't need to, because everybody likes Fallen Order because it was good. You know, it was like
All the more reason for those characters to show up in other media, in my opinion.
I guess, but just I feel like it can stand on its own. And in terms of like setting up a story, I really wouldn't want that.
Yeah.
'Cause,
It can stand
again,
on
I
its
feel
own
like-
end, but if it does, it just feels separated to me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it feels
I
like
would
it's lesser
I would
than.
like to see live action. Yeah.
Me too.
Really cool.
Oh no,
Really
I
deserves
would
it.
and wouldn't. Like I would like to see him, but I would want it to be his thing. I wouldn't want him to appear in somebody else's.
Like a standalone project.
yeah, like if Fallen Order had like an interquel, like between Fallen Order and the Survivor game, like literally just for
Yeah.
like an hour special, I'd be
That'd be
fine
cool.
with that. You know, but I don't
Or just
want
like a
him
comic
appearing-
series.
Yeah, like I
Maybe,
just
yeah.
don't. I don't want him appearing in other people's stuff because then you're gonna have what's happening now, and it takes away from what's supposed to be.
Yeah, because if Cal shows up on screen, everyone's gonna be focused on him, and you
Yeah.
want him. You want him to
Yeah.
be done justice.
Yeah.
Like if he showed up. in
Also, you don't
Obi-Wan,
want it
he's
to
there,
take away
yeah.
from Obi-Wan in his own show.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Obi-Wan,
Obi-Wan, no, I don't know. It'd be cool. It would have been cool to see him for like a few minutes in one of the earlier episodes, but now is not the time.
Yeah, it's too late now.
It's hence like a lot of other cameos. The only one I want to see is Liam Neeson. That's the only one I care about.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And anyway, what do you think is going to happen next
You
week?
think we get Yoda?
No,
No.
no. If he hasn't intervened, bro, I don't want to see him intervene. We know he doesn't. So just
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. He's doing what Obi-Wan should have been doing this entire
Yeah,
time.
dude.
Right, Tom?
Exactly. I'd like a Yoda show.
Oh my god,
Nah,
that'd be a drag.
No, like a young
the Yoda show where he's contacted by I don't know who he
Enemy
contacted
dude.
by.
A random character that be like
Random
a
character,
spin-off show.
and he tells him to take care of his kid in another universe where or
Yeah.
not another universe. I don't know.
No, I'd like young
the Inquisitors
Yoda
are going
show.
after him. Yeah,
You
a
wanna
young,
see
a young
like
Yoda.
an
I mean, I think it's possible that
animated-
Yoda shows up in the Acolyte.
Yeah, but he's still gonna be old.
Not necessarily. Well, I guess that takes place like right before the prequels. Not
Yeah,
right before, like
so he's still
a
gonna be
few
like
years.
old.
Still, like
Like that would be cool if we see Yoda at like 200 years old, like young, doing his thing.
I mean,
with
like
other
that
people.
supposedly takes place during the High Republic, so we could just see like flashbacks too. I don't know,
I guess
but
that would be cool. We see young Yoda and then it transitions to him being like old, or we see him getting knighted and then he's knighting somebody. That would be pretty cool.
sure, that would be cool to see. Anyway, what do you think would be cool to see next week in the season and hopefully series finale of Obi-Wan Kenobi? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll be right back here next week to talk about episode 6, the final episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Thanks again, Tom and Aiden, for being here. We'll see you next week.
Later.